Burmese, so a lot of them come from very rural backgrounds. In their homes, they were farmers. They grew their own food. Very self-sufficient. Very self-sufficient. They made their own clothes, as you see some of the stuff that they're wearing today. Very beautiful handbags. You'll see the handbags outside. They're actually selling some of them, so you're interested in check out those handbags. Here are some of the children that are there. And here's some scenes from the country itself. So these are Buddhist pagodas from the ancient city of Bagan. This is a Karen village in Burma, so you can see what their homes look like. Well, it's kind of dark, but and this is Inlay Lake, also in and this is in the Shan state. So you see, back in their home country, they had their own way of life, their food, very self-sufficient, their own culture, their own government, beautiful landscape. So why did they leave? Why did many of them have to cross through the jungle, carrying very little, carrying their kids, sleeping in the jungle in the dark, traveling at nighttime because they're fearing that the military might catch them and drag them back or force them to labor or rape. Like, why would they risk their lives to walk miles and miles and miles to where they should? I'm going to go a little bit over the conflict. So Burma was formerly a British colony. Now, when that occurred, a lot of the Koreans, remember I mentioned the Korean before? The Korean actually sided with the British. And the rest of Burma, the majority of Burmese, they actually sided with the Japanese. So this was during World War II. So after the Japanese lost and Britain allowed the Burmese to become an independent state, there was a lot of resentment among the majority of Burmese against the Korean, who had fought against them, right? So after the British left, the military took over and they started persecuting the Korean minority groups. What they wanted to do was actually wipe them out through ethnic cleansing. So they burned the villages. Those who they captured, they forced them to do labor, carry their guns. After years and years of this happening, the Korean started taking up arms and trying to defend their families. So this has escalated violence on both sides, and it's still continuing. So how many have heard of Aung San Suu Kyi? So she's one of the popular political leaders of Burma who is fighting for democracy. She wants to bring about change there. Now, she actually was elected to be president in Burma, but the military that was in power, they wouldn't give up power, even though she wanted the majority votes. What they did instead was they put her on house arrest. So she's been under house arrest for like 10, 20 years. I believe last year she was released, and she has her own party, so she's trying to gather support and have talks with the government there to try to bring about change in a peaceful way. A lot of people have hope. A lot of people hope that a lot of change will occur. Now, she is actually a part of the majority Burmese group, but she is wanting to unite Burma and end the violence, end the persecution against the minority groups too. So, as you can see, these were all the refugee camps that are currently in place, and the numbers behind them are how many of the refugee camps. Now the green is Burma, and the gray is Thailand. So all the refugee camps are actually on the Thailand side, right? Because they're trying to escape the Burmese. Even though they're in the refugee camps, it doesn't mean that they're safe, because the Thai, sorry, not the Thai, but the Burmese military, they sometimes go to the refugee camps and attack. And the Thai soldiers, they just kind of run, like they don't want to fight back, right? So they're understaffed, so they just kind of run, and then even in the refugee camps, they still live in fear of being killed or being attacked or being captured. And the conditions in the refugee camps, they aren't granted official legal status in Thailand. What happens is they're there, but they can't leave the camps. As you can see, there's barbed wire. It's illegal for them to leave the camps. If they leave the camps, the Thai will just send them back to Burma. If they send them back to Burma as a refugee, they might just get killed. So the conditions, yeah, aren't very good in refugee camps. Some of the refugees here have been in the camps for years. Some people have been there for 10, 20 years. being stuck in those refugee camps before they're finally granted a new home in America or Australia or another place. While they're there, they do try to make the best of it. So they try to build schools and still keep their culture alive within the refugee camps. You see that there's plenty of kids. Some kids are actually born there and raised there. That's all they know. But they're trying to make the most of it by having schools and educating kids there. Okay. So about refugees from Burma, it's the lines in the blue. So as you can see, from 2003, about 203 were admitted to the U.S. And by the time it's 2010, over 60,000 were admitted to the U.S. So the numbers keep rising because the violence and the persecution is escalating. Burma is actually the country where a lot of refugees come from. It's actually the country where the second highest population of refugees come from versus Iraq. And then the third highest is Bhutan, which you'll be hearing about later. Those refugees who are here, they were assisted by the government, and the government works with these refugee agencies to help resettle them here. So they help them find like a job, employment skills, housing. About 8,000 were placed in Texas in 2009, and of those 8,000, approximately 2,000 are here in Houston, and most of them are actually around this area, some Blossom apartments, all around the Asian town area. So the challenges that they're facing, many of them, well, most of them actually don't speak English. They don't understand how things work here in the U.S., where to go for what. They come from a rural background, coming to a city, they're difficult to adjust. The skills that help them survive, growing own their food, hunting, they can't do that here, right? Because they don't have their own place to grow stuff. Lack of education, they don't know to use computers, marketable skills here. These are all barriers that they're facing. While the government does assist these refugees, there's a time limit. I think it's like, it just keeps going down. Like it's like, maybe like 5 years, and then 6 months, and then, I'm sorry, 1 year, and then 6 months, it just keeps getting less and less. And then, I think after 5 years, they don't qualify for case management, so they're supposed to be kind of on their own. Like after 5 years, they're supposed to already know how to speak English and have marketable skills to take care of themselves. Critical needs, I'm going to focus on the elders, because I was working with the seniors here. Here at Asian American Family Services, we want to offer a psycho-educational support for them. They want to focus on seniors. The reason why we chose this population was because they're very, underserved. There's not many Burmese here who are established who can have the resources to assist the new arrivals. So they're a very underserved population. They're proximity to us. They're just like a mile away. We pretty much walk to where they live. Our funding source from the area agency, we're able to have funding to be able to go out there. 3 minutes? Okay. And it's aligned with our mission and goals, right? And I love working with refugees, so that's why I really wanted to do this. What we did is we recruited first. We had Kaya and also Burmese-speaking interpreters to go up to the community and let them know about what we were starting up. We assessed what their needs were. Their third most stated need, what they found to be most important, was access to medical service. That's the dentist and doctor. They just couldn't get them, right? Transportation was a big issue. They don't have cars. Transportation, second most. The number one, can anyone guess what their number one stated need was? What they wanted to have the most? Social support is good. That's something that also important. Yeah. Job is also important.
English class?
That is correct, yeah. They wanted to learn English. That was their number one. So we come in, we're a mental health organization. We weren't really trying to offer ESL, but because this is their need, we want them to continue coming, right? So we made that a focus, but what we did was we incorporated learning English phrases and words throughout all the mental health topics that we discussed with them. Okay? Now, even though they didn't mention mental health needs and wanting mental health services, we talked to them and we found that they're having a lot of family conflict because of money, right? Culturation, stress, frustration because they can't get the services they need, understaffed refugee center agencies. And for research studies, we know that, like Dr. Wing mentioned, these are some of the other difficulties that they're facing. So solutions, challenges, solutions. So we wanted to tailor our lessons to this population. So one thing we had to consider was age. So senior citizens, to help them learn the material, we had to review it. Okay, I'm gonna talk faster. We have to review the material regularly. So we introduce something, we introduce it again, over and over and over to reinforce it, right? Refugee experiences. We want to address what they have experienced, and those issues include loss, trauma, realistic expectations of what life would be here in the U.S., and also the view of police. Now, their view of the police in Burma was just the military using them, right? So if they face any safety issues here, they're not likely to call the police, and they don't understand how the police works there, right? So we had to address that. Limited English language skills, we had an interpreter, Allison, so without her, my goodness, like how would I communicate, right? And we translate the information to Burmese. I did a lot of like hand motions, you know, like charades. And has anyone heard of the Wong Baker faces, the pain scale? So it's like a happy face, and then not so happy, and then really sad face. It's supposed to assess how they feel, how much pain they feel, right? How much agreement they have towards something. But we use that to evaluate their thoughts on each area of their life, whether the lessons were helping. So we try to use that instead of words, right? So we also try to introduce them to mental health. We try to meet their practical needs. They want to learn English, we did that. Case management, needing help making appointments. We wanted to address their routine needs also. And we also have a shortage interpreters, so not many are bilingual.